Hey everyone, and welcome to Rainbow Tarot UK. If you are new, then great to have you on board. It's always lovely to have new people, as I always say, watching my readings. If you're a subscriber or a returning viewer, then massive thanks to you. Particularly if you're subscribed, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Anyway, let's get straight to today's reading. So we are going to be doing a career reading today, and it's basically a yes or no. So whatever career question you've got, we're going to be giving a yes or a no answer to that. So we've got our three piles as usual. We have got pile number 1, which is the green card and the lapis lazuli heart. We've got the yellow card with the red Jasper, and we've got the purple card with the fluorite, or green and purple pink flecks, the fluorite. So as usual, take a moment, just go with the one that's calling to you. It's a general reading, like I always say, you know, messages for many people that are watching it, so just take the messages that resonate with you, and then you can just leave the ones that don't resonate. But other than that, have a great reading, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Hey, pile number 1, and welcome to your reading. So today we're doing, aren't we, any question that you have around your career that can, where you can get a yes or a no answer to it. So as you can see, I've pre-shuffled the cards today. So we've got some oracle cards and we've got some tarot cards. Now the way that I do my yes or no spreads is that I have some oracle cards and I've got my 5 tarot cards. So, as we go along, I'll tell you there's certain meanings for each of the cards, really, in terms of, the position that they're placed in. But anyway, so you chose, to come into the reading, you chose the lapis lazuli stone, which essentially is about change and transformation. And it kind of comes about when, you're ready for a spiritual transformation. And it kind of gives you a deeper awareness so that you can take better charge of your life. So maybe there's something like that in your question. But anyway, so that's our meaning of the lapis lazuli. So let's take a look. So you also chose, now these cards are from called the Orosoma Inspiration Deck. And Orosoma, as I said in other readings, is like a colour system, really, a colour healing system, a colour system that gives us great understanding of ourselves, really. Now this card they also relate to all of the tarot cards, I should say, and this is the Death card. So that's interesting because with the lapis lazuli, death is also about change and transformation. And it's got a little quote, and it says, "As I let go, I'm open to that which is new." So maybe your question for some of you is about letting go of the old, embracing the new, changing and transforming. But let's wait and see. So we've got that one there. We've got the Death card. We also got, so we've got a lovely card which is Divine Protection. So maybe this card is here to tell you that in this decision or in this area of your life, there is divine protection. You are being protected, maybe being guarded. I mean, maybe for some of you, it just feels like there's a strong spiritual element maybe to this past. So maybe you're involved in the spiritual industries, or maybe it's something, this question has something to do with your spiritual journey or your path in life, or your spiritual path in life, or something like that, possibly for some of you. But this card wants you to know that in this area of your life, you are protected. There is divine protection, maybe divine intervention here for you. Okay, it's also in darkness here. So maybe that is something, that's not something that you would necessarily think about, which is why it's in darkness. But this kind of sort of light in the centre here makes me think that, kind of spirit wants you to know that yes, there is light there to guide you. You might feel like you're in the dark, but actually there is light to guide you. Okay, so let's get out the next oracle card. So this one says, homeward, take yourself out on a date. So what this card really is about, this card is about slowing down and saying it's time to press pause and just contemplate before you do the next leg of the journey. So maybe in this, if it is around change and transformation, you just need to take a little bit more time and have readings like this one to sort of give you a chance to think things through, to look at all the options and stuff, and to not really rush into anything. So I think this card is saying, you know, to be a bit more introspective at the moment, to not rush, to take a little bit of time, to spend a little bit of time with ourselves, to think about, to think about this question rather than kind of rush into anything. But anyway, let's have a look and see. So these 5 cards. Okay, so I've got the first card, which is the 5 of Wands, and that is the card that's going to tell me a little bit about the issue within the career field, really. What is the kind of issue? It's going to be lots of issues for, you know, because obviously so lots of people are going to pick this. Well, I hope lots of people are going to pick it. But, you know, it's going to be a lot of different people have a lot of different questions. But anyway, the first one is the 5 of Wands, and that's going to give me a bit of a flavour of that. The second one is the positives around the situation, and this is the Knight of Swords. So that's the positives of the situation. This tells me kind of where you're at right now, which is the 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. This tells me the kind of downside or the negatives of the situation, and this is the Moon. Okay, and then the last one is kind of like the outcome, and this is the King of Pentacles. So I'm going to put him there, all that energy there, right, okay. So what I feel is that this is, normally the 5 of Wands talks about competition. It talks about being in a competition, challenges, that kind of thing, really, competing against other things. So in a career reading, I mean, I suppose the traditional reading that would be, you know, maybe this is a question around you going for promotion, going for a different job, going for a sideways move in your company. Maybe it's about competing. Maybe you're self-employed and you're having to compete with others, or you're feeling like you're having to compete with others to get in the, you know, to get in the business, to get in the clients, to get in the sales. So maybe it's something around, you know, competition, challenges, struggles within your workplace. That would be the kind of traditional reading of it. Now, in this deck, I don't know, this particular 5 of Wands always reminds me of the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands is about being clear and focused and moving straight towards your goal. So I feel it could also be, it could also mean, actually, this question could also be about a team. Maybe there's an issue that you're talking about in a team where all of you are facing maybe a similar issue, or you're all working towards a similar goal or a similar thing, because this is a lot of people here, really. So maybe your career question is something around to do with your team, or the people around you, or the thing that you and maybe others are going towards. So there might be more than you going towards whatever this question it is that you're asking about, where there may be some competition, but it may also mean that you're all going towards the same focus, the same goal, the same purpose, and that is what your question is about, because all these people are facing the same kind of foe, really. And they're all standing strong and going towards it with kind of determination. They all look pretty strong to me. And that can also be the 5 of Wands as well, in that there's competition, but you've got a really good chance within that competition. So if this is about something that you're going for, that you're competing against, you know, the overall energy of that is that, you know, you stand a good chance within that. Okay, so the positives are the Knight of Swords, which is that, you know, it just feels like either you or the energy around you is kind of bold action, really. You are taking bold action, bold steps, you're moving quickly towards it. And it also goes with this, I just feel like there's a very sort of focused movement towards whatever it is you are asking about. It might involve you know, having a bit of a plan, or maybe being a bit more strategized, or maybe thinking things through. But I feel that because it's in the positive position, that you are doing that. So you're doing all the preparation work, you're doing all the planning, you're doing all the organizing, you're getting everything in place, really. Maybe it's also about something about being this particular question is about being more honest and more true to yourself in some way, because swords can also be about truth, speaking your truth. But I just feel like this, this mermaid is moving confidently on the wave towards her gold. Her sword is upright, and it just means that I just feel in the positives. You've got a really strong opportunity or a strong chance here, and whatever it is you are working towards. If it is competition, you are stiff competition. You have got it figured out. You have thought, you've kind of crossed the I's and dotted the I's and crossed the T's in this situation. That's the positives. Now, where you are at the moment is this kind of collaborative state, really. So maybe, again, collaborate. The Three of Pentacles can talk about collaboration, can talk about working with people in a cooperative and communicative way. And it is a traditional card that we have in the work sphere. So I feel like maybe your natural way in work is to be collaborative, is to be, is to work well in a team, or to work well with others. Or maybe that's what you're being called upon to do in the current situation that you're in. And maybe your idea, or what you want maybe, is to go towards something, that's more of you, when that would go with the kind of page of the Knight of Swords here, that is more you going on your own, going out on your own in a way. So working for yourself, or becoming higher up and having more authority, or being seen as a leader in some way. So maybe this is saying that, where you are at the moment, you're in a team or you're in a collaborative situation, and you're wanting possibly to move into something that is more either self-employed, or where you have more authority, or you move up the rung, if you like. Now, what's the negative situation here is the moon. Now, the moon can talk about confusion. It can talk about having doubts, having fears, a bit of self-sabotage, also about not seeing things clearly, maybe some deception or deceit around the situation. Maybe you feel there's something, particularly we've got this competition, maybe you're feeling like there's something going on behind the scenes that you don't know about, or that you're not party to. But it also talks about deep intuition and being very intuitive, but it's in the negative position, or the negatives of the situation, really. So maybe you're feeling a bit confused, maybe there's a bit of self-doubt, maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that is not, that is kind of working against you in some way. But I feel maybe it's more around self-doubts, really. And more around how you're kind of feeling within yourself, or feeling about the situation. But what I can tell you, because also it's a transformative, it's got a bit, it's a big transformation. Whatever you're asking about, I feel it's like a big transformation, because we've got the, we've got the Death card, we've got the lapis lazuli, we've got the divine protection. So I feel like you're asking about something quite major within your work sphere. Maybe there are some doubts and fears, and you're a bit confused, or there's some confusing thoughts around it in some way. Maybe that's why we've got the Five of Wands here, which, although it talks about competition, maybe there's some sort of, something going on within you, some sort of fight within you about whether, what path you take, really. So, but what I can say is that I would definitely say that this is a yes. Whatever this situation is, a yes, because the outcome card is the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles is a very solid, stable, secure king, very wise, very business savvy, Pentacles is the suit of work. So this is a successful card, really. So it's a yes, I would say it's a yes answer, and it also comes with a lot of success. And that success possibly leading to financial gain, independence, solvency and stability, because that is the King of Pentacles. And it might also go if this kind of pile was around thinking about, you know, moving from a team situation into a more self-employed, or working for yourself, or being a leader in some way, taking a step up. So I would say this is yes, but you know, just take your time with it. Just take your time with it. It feels to me like it's quite a big transformation. It's quite a big move, or quite a big step in some way, and it needs a bit of time, but you are protected. Don't forget that you are protected. You've got the divine protection here. And also I just want to say, you know, that there's a message coming through about whatever it is you're asking about. You know, it's saying you deserve it. You deserve whatever it is that you are thinking about, in some way, or because it's for your, I also feel like it's for your, there's a sort of divine protection there because it's for your higher good in some way. That's kind of what I'm picking up. There's a sense of it being the right path for you in some way, or it's connecting you again as well to your spiritual path, either in a direct way and or in a kind of roundabout way. But definitely I would say for this one, it's a yes for you, pile number 1. But anyway, that's been your reading. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the subscribe and the notifications bell. Really does help me and the channel out so that I can do more readings. But other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now. Hey, pile number 2, and welcome back to your reading. So today we are doing, aren't we, a career question, yes or no, to whatever career question you have got. Now there might be a number of different questions, so I'm going to do my best to try and come up with a couple of different scenarios really, and whatever I think the question might be about. But you chose the red jasper, fantastic red jasper there, and you also chose, what I've done actually, like I said to pile number 1, is I've done a couple of, obviously I've pre-shuffled the cards today, so I've done a couple of oracle cards, and I've got a few cards, tarot cards, that relate to the yes and no question, and they are in specific set positions that have a specific meaning for each card, for each position. So I'm going to explain that as I go along. But anyway, let's have a look first of all. So you came into the reading, I should say, on the red jasper and this card here. Now I've used these cards before. These are the Aura Soma Inspiration decks. Inspiration deck. Aura Soma is a form of colour. It's a colour system for greater self-understanding, self-awareness, and it relates, or part of it relates, to the tarot deck. There is actually a separate tarot deck, but these are the inspiration cards, and this is actually the 3 of Pentacles. So you've come in onto the reading on the 3 of Pentacles. Now the 3 of Pentacles is one of the main cards in the tarot deck relating to work and career, and the 3 of Pentacles as a rule generally talks about collaboration, working with others, working cooperatively with others, you know, dealing with others really. It can also talk about, you know, you within that collaboration, you know, you are seen as a master of your trade, or with what you do really. So that might have some bearing on the reading, but let's take a look at the other cards. So that is the 3 of Pentacles, a beautiful yellow, deep sort of yellow and white card there in the centre. Okay, so we're going to put that there. We've also got a card that says practical intuition. So maybe there's something about this situation where you need to be guided by your intuition, because we've got a big moon here in the background, but something about being practical as well. So, you know, being grounded as well as intuitive. So there might be something around that within this. I've just also noticed, yeah, okay, right, sorry, just thinking out loud there. Okay, so let's have a look at this card. Okay, so this says flower, and there's quite a lot of yellow in that card again, isn't there? So maybe there's something to do with this question around personal power, around confidence, around feeling empowered, around, because yellow is all about that. But yellow can also, the kind of flip side of yellow, it can also be a little bit of anxiety, or a little bit worry and a little bit of stress. So maybe that's going on as well. But anyway, this says, be honest with yourself. Okay, so maybe in this situation, it's calling for you to be, yeah, to do just that, to kind of like be truthful with yourself. maybe there's something that you know is true deep down, and that might be why we have the intuition. But deep down, you know it's true, but you maybe not, you know, like that little nagging feeling, or that little nagging voice that you're hearing, or whatever. But sometimes we can, you know, we can ignore it because, you know, it might lead to, you know, it might not make sense, it might be illogical, or it might mean that it will lead to certain disruption or whatever. But it's usually that is your intuition telling you, it's trying to tell you something, trying to communicate with you. And this card is about saying, you know, listen to your, you know, listen to what you know in your heart really to be true. So it's also talks about something about facing up to reality. So maybe there's something about this situation where you need to face up to reality in some way, even if there's a little bit of discomfort there. There's a need to do that now. But anyway, let's have a look at the cards and see what they say. Okay. Right, so we've got the first card is, your first card is the Queen of Swords, and that's in the position of what I would see as kind of like the main, what's being asked really. So as you know, this is hopefully a reading for a lot of people. There might be a lot of different, you know, slants on whatever the question is that you're asking. But that first card for that is the Queen of Swords. Okay. The second card is the positives of whatever it is you're asking about, which is the Ace of Wands. The third card is where you're at right now within that question, or within that situation, or within your career or your work situation, which is the Empress. Okay. Now the fourth card is the negatives or the downside of the situation, which is the Queen of Wands. And then the fifth card is the outcome card, and that is the Five of Swords. Okay, so, right. So let's look at the first question, the first card here, which is the Queen of Swords. Now the Queen of Swords is, you know, somebody who is, well, first of all, she's in a position of, you know, authority because she is a queen. So maybe you are asking about something where you're going to move into a position of authority, or a position of power, or a position where you are moving up a rung in some way. Or maybe it's around where you want to take a leap of faith and work on your own, because the Queen of Swords can often be somebody who is comfortable on her own, and in her own, not only in her own skin, but comfortable on her own and working on her own. She's very much a planner, a strategist, a thinker. She's very, very, very intelligent. She has an incredibly sharp mind. Now, but what's calling me about this Queen of Wands is that you can clearly see that her heart is locked away here. So maybe this issue, for some of you, it feels to me like that you might be asking about something that feels like a little bit of a head or a heart choice or a decision for you in some way. Because my sense is here that you as a person, particularly because we have the Three of Pentacles, are somebody, and also because of these other three cards, you are somebody who's very sort of collaborative by nature, or very charismatic, very open, very confident, somebody who has a lot of gap and go and a lot of drive, and is very action orientated. But I think this thing that you're asking about requires sort of slightly different skills of you, or a slightly different skill set, or a slightly different personality almost, where you know, with the Queen of Swords is somebody who's, for example, quite introverted, whereas the Queen of Wands is somebody who's very extroverted. The Queen of Swords is somebody who's a thinker, strategist, she's a planner, whereas the Queen of Wands is much more a doer, she's much more action orientated, she's much more out there in that respect. So it could be that for some of you, that you're asking about a situation in your career, or something in your career that is requiring a different skill set than the one that you are the most comfortable with, or the one that you are the most confident about. And that might be why we have the Flower card here that says be honest with yourself, because the positives of the situation is that maybe you're feeling that it would lead to a new beginning for you, a brand new start, something that you maybe feel passionate about and that you want to kind of go for, and maybe it would do that for you. But you see, the card that you have, which is where you are right now, which is the Empress, which again, I suppose it couldn't be more different to the Queen of Swords, which is what you're asking about. So the Empress is somebody, again, who's very caring, very nurturing, very collaborative, very, takes care of everybody, loves to be in company, is very, sensual, is very, she's just very it's very kind of natural. She loves being in nature. She is very practical, like practical intuition. She's very practical. She's a great, parent. And the Queen of Swords is somebody who is kind of very, very, very different to that. So I just feel, that's why I'm kind of sensing with this, that you might be asking about a head or a heart. Now it could be with the Empress being in your current position, that this is something about, I've been at home, maybe I've been looking after the family, or maybe I've been doing things that are more creative in my career. And I'm asking about whether I go into something that is not as creative, but requires more of a mental approach, which isn't it's not my comfort zone, but maybe I have to do that because it would lead to better finances for me, or that it would lead to a better position materially for me. So maybe there's something like that going on, but in your heart it's not necessarily what you want to do. Now it could also be that you're asking about somebody in your work situation, because the Queen of Swords can be someone who, because she's been through a lot in life, and she closes off her heart. So emotionally where's the heart situation? Emotionally she can be quite detached and needing to protect her heart. And the sort of flip side of that is that sometimes dealing with somebody like the Queen of Swords is that she can be quite difficult and quite hard to deal with. She's got a very sharp tongue, and she can be, she can be difficult. So maybe in your work situation, this is a question around somebody that you're having to deal with who is quite difficult, and it's quite different from you. It's quite different from your energy, completely different from your energy. So maybe there's something about that going on. That might be some of the questions here. But again, the sort of negatives of the situation is the Queen of Wands, which again we could interpret as being your natural state, that is so different to the Queen of Swords. Somebody who is so just so charismatic, so extrovert. So you might be also somebody that might be in, I'm just getting entertainment, or somebody who might have a lot of followers in some way, but for some reason, whatever the question you're asking about, that is seen as a sort of as something that's not going to go for the situation in some way, because it's in the kind of negative position here. So it could be that I just feel with this one that there's something about you needing to kind of face up to your intuition and what your intuition is telling you about the situation. Because I've got to say, with the Five of Swords, that this is a no. I think the answer to this question is a no, because it's the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is defeat, really. The Five of Swords talks about defeat. It can also talk about self-sabotage. So maybe in this, what you're asking about, it is something that you're asking which, maybe is a head decision, but it's not really a heart decision. Maybe going ahead with that head decision is a bit of self-sabotage. It's not really you. It's not really what you should be doing. Not at your heart in any way. It's not who you are. It's so different to the energy that you have around you. The energy around you, I've got these reds, oranges, yellows. They're just vibrant. They're just, a lot of yellow here. I just feel like you're a very vibrant, naturally, I think you're a very vibrant, confident person. But this thing that you're asking about, I think, is maybe knocking your confidence a little bit, or making you feel a bit anxious, because it's not something that it's not something that's really you, really. I think that's probably what I would say. It's not really something that's really you. And maybe, you know, you seeing it as a passionate new beginning is not really the reality of the situation. But anyway, so the Five of Swords. Now, it could be no, could be the right answer for you, or it could be a disappointing answer for you. But I do feel it is a no, because it's not the right. It's kind of not the right path for you. But let's pull a few cards actually on why is it a no. Can we please have some more information for pile number 2 on why this is a no? Why is it a no for them? Can we please have some information? Why is it a no? Okay. Why is it a no? Why is it a no for pile number 2? Why is it a no? The Sun. Why is it a no? Why is it a no for pile number 2? Oh, 2 here. So we have got, okay, so we have got the Page of Pentacles, we have got the Sun, we have got the Justice card, and we have got the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, I just feel that it's a no, because again with the Justice card, it feels to me like it's not really the right, you know, it's not the right decision for you. It's not the right outcome for you. Yeah, there's not a set. It doesn't feel like it would be a fair or a right outcome for you. And I just feel like with the Sun card, you know, you would be much happier with this kind of no decision. It will lead to a much greater sense of happiness and fulfillment. And I can't help feeling with the Sun underneath the Empress that maybe for some of you it's around, I don't know, it's around making a decision, maybe about going back into work, or, you know, coming out of parenthood and taking a decision into the working world again. Something around that. Also, I just feel that with the Page of Pentacles, and with the Ace of Pentacles here, that there are just other opportunities for you. There will be other opportunities, other more practical opportunities that are more suited to you, I think, that will be coming along for you, and that might also mean where you can again gain a little bit more money and more finance from it. I just feel like this is a no situation, because you'll be happier, it's the right outcome for you, it's a fair outcome for you. And also with the Page of Pentacles, also I feel like there are you know, with this particular question that you're asking, maybe there are still things that you need to learn, or still things that you need to sort of read up on, because the Page of Pentacles is a student energy. It's an energy of learning. So maybe it's a no because, you know, you maybe need to do more learning or more studying around the topic in some way. And the Ace of Pentacles is maybe it's got something to do with you. It's no because you need to be thinking about starting up something of your own with the Ace of Pentacles, some new business idea or something like that. Or if it was about your own business, maybe a different strand of a business idea or a different path in some way. But anyway, that has been your reading, pile number 2. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell, and have a great day, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now. Hey, pile number 3, welcome back to your reading. So you chose the Fluorite and this lovely purple card to come into your reading. And obviously today we're doing the reading, aren't we? You know, a career question, yes or no to any career question you might be asking. Now I've chosen, as you can see, I've pre-shuffled some cards. I've chosen some oracle cards and a few tarot cards, and those tarot cards will be laid in specific positions for a yes or no answer, and I'm going to explain that as I go along. But anyway, let's have a look at these cards first. So you came in on this one This is what you chose the reading on. Now, this is part of my Aurosoma inspiration deck. Aurosoma, as I've been saying to the other piles, and in some of my other readings, is a colour system. It's a system to help with self-awareness, self-understanding, personal growth, and it's done through colour. And obviously this is Rainbow Tarot UK, and I love all things both tarot and colour. So this actually card, because some of the inspiration deck relates to the tarot cards, and this one is the Knight of Wands. And it says, I let go of the past and love myself the way I am. And it's this beautiful purple and magenta. And it's actually the bottle number 25, because Aurosoma is done in coloured bottles. And it's interesting, it's called the Florence Nightingale bottle. So I don't know if that has any, maybe some of you are nurses. The Florence Nightingale bottle. But anyway, let's put that one down. There. Let's see. The next one is, responsibility. So this is responsibility. So maybe you do a role where you feel like there is a lot of responsibility, or maybe you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. But 10 also counts down to 1. 1 is all about me. It's the me energy, isn't it? I'm just wondering, I just got to pick it up intuitively whether this question is something around, you wanting to do something for yourself, or to put yourself first for once. And that might be why we have the Florence Nightingale bottle, because this bottle is also always about, when you look at it in Aurosoma, although it's the Knight of Wands, it's about a little bit, it talks about a kind of wounded healer, really. So somebody who's within that kind of healing profession, but also has some wounds of their own. But that may or may not relate to you. That may just be for some of you. So if it's not your message, don't pick it up. But it also relates to the Knight of Wands. Okay, so let's have a look and see. So maybe there's something around for some of you about putting yourself first. Maybe that's got something to do with this question. But anyway, the next one says, morning, the world awaits. Now this card talks about really being in a little bit of a rut, or somebody being a little bit of a rut, just getting up, doing, what they need to do every single day, sort of eat, sleep, repeat, that kind of thing. But also it makes you begin to question, or it's asking you to question, really, what are you doing to really make the most out of your life, to really truly live your life, to gather experiences, to gain memories, that kind of stuff. What are you really doing to get the most out of your life? That is what this card is saying. So maybe that's got something to do with your question. Maybe your question is around, within your career, how is this, is this career choice, or whatever it is I'm weighing up, is it going to allow me to get the best out of my career, get the best out of my life? So maybe it's got something to do with that for some of you, but maybe not, maybe not, but let's see. Okay, so right, so you also chose the Fluorite, and again the Fluorite is about being clear, having your priorities. It's also about being discerning as well, and clearing out any kind of bad influences, lifting your energy, prioritising balance in some way. So I'm getting the sense with some of you, that there might be a lot of pull on your time, a lot of, you might have a lot of responsibility, you might have to, you might be in a bit of a rut because you've got a lot of responsibilities and you have to keep things going in some way. And with the Knight of Wands, what I'm sensing, because the Knight of Wands is Knights are always about action. They're always about, wanting excitement. Wands is about wanting excitement, wanting, having a lot of energy, feeling, having fun, really. So maybe there's something around, just as an aside, something around some of you feeling like, I want a bit of fun. Maybe I want my work to be more fun. Maybe I want my work to be more interesting. Maybe I want to feel more passionate about what I'm doing. So maybe there's something around that, because it's kind of very much against this morning card where things are a bit like humdrum and boring, really. And it's about waking up to the Knight of Wands, getting a bit more oomph, getting a bit more excitement, and getting a bit more, you know, a bit more interest and, yeah, a bit more passion in what I'm doing, really. So maybe it's got some of that as relevant for some of you in this question, in this part. But anyway, so this is the first card, and it is the Two of Pentacles, and this is, in this position, this is kind of what you're asking about roughly. Now obviously there's a number of different meanings to this card, as there will be a number of different you know, kind of questions in this group, I'm sure, around their career, but that's the overall energy, which is Two of Pentacles. Then we have the positives of the situation, and that is the Emperor. All right, this is where you're at right now, which is the Six of Cups. Okay, the Six of Cups. This is the kind of like, oh, as well, we had two of these cards come up actually. So normally we just had one for the other part in this position, but for some reason two came out, and it's for the kind of negatives of the situation, the situations that aren't, you know, the parts of the situation that aren't sort of helpful, if you like. So this is the Seven of Wands, so I'll put that there, and the Seven of Pentacles. And that's interesting that it's both sevens. Now 7 is normally a spiritual number. So, okay, so something around that in some way, so maybe whatever you're asking. Okay, and then the outcome is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. Now I'm just thinking as well that you might want to listen to pile number 1, because it wasn't the Queen of Pentacles that was the outcome, but it was the King of Pentacles in pile number 1. So you might want to look at pile number 1 as well. But anyway, so let's have a look at this. So what you're asking about, so the Two of Pentacles, so I feel like the situation that some of you are asking about is, the Two of Pentacles is, you know, talks about choices, but it can also, so it might be that you're weighing things up at the moment, or you're in a situation, and that's probably why you're having this reading, where you're having to weigh things up, you're having to juggle. So what I feel as well with this pile is that, like I was saying before, there's a bit of juggling going on. There's lots of things, you maybe have lots of responsibility. There's lots of plates that you're having to spin in the air. There's lots of things that you're having to do. Maybe there's some choices that you're having to make. And I feel that maybe this career question is also related to finance. And maybe at the moment, finances are a bit tough. Or maybe this situation that you're asking about would help you to balance your finances better in some way, and that's why you're going for it, because it would improve your finances, it would help you to balance out your finances, it would mean that finances wouldn't be so tough or so stretched. Also something about, you know, I get a kind of sense maybe that you are also in a position where you're maybe asking about whether you could take a step up or move a step up, or have greater authority or greater power, or yeah, just get you up the rung of the ladder, really, something about that. Yeah, but it's definitely linked, I think, more in this part than any of the others, around finances, around with a view to improving your finances, and to also somehow stop this, you know, because this person is hopping from one foot to the other, trying to juggle, you know, somehow I think in this question you're feeling that it would stop, that would, you know, you wouldn't have to do so much of the, what I'm picking up, or what I'm feeling is the phrase is donkey work, like you're not having to do so much of the donkey work. So maybe you're in the moment, and it goes with what I was saying before about, you know, this kind of having to kind of trudge along and do all the kind of everything and do all the donkey work and get all the tasks done, and actually what you want is a little bit more, you know, is a little bit more fun, a little bit more excitement, a little bit more sort of bold action. I feel like you want to do something bold, really. But anyway, the positives of the situation is the Emperor. So whatever you're asking about, maybe you're thinking it's going to lead to, like I say, you know, the Emperor is a boss, somebody who is in charge, somebody who has a clear plan and strategy. So maybe at the moment you're feeling a bit scattered, or there's just too much going on really. Because the Emperor is about strategy, it's about having a clear plan, having a clear focus. So maybe you're thinking, or maybe whatever the thing you're asking about would give you a clear plan, a clear focus. You'd be in charge, you'd be you know, top dog, you would be completely, you know, yeah, like I say, you know, in charge. Maybe that's why we've got the responsibility card, because you actually want more responsibility in your work situation. That's the other side of it. You could actually be looking for promotion, something that's going to give you a lot more responsibility, going to make you top dog, and that is the positives of the situation. This could give you that. This could give you that, because at the moment we have you here as the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups can talk about. I just feel in this card it's got very caring. It's a very caring card. It's a very, so you might be in the caring professions, or you might work with children actually. You might be at home, you might be somebody who's at home and looking after a family in some way, and maybe something is, your question is something about, you know, should I go back into the sphere of work? But it feels to me like maybe, because this is where you are now and the positives are the Emperor, that maybe you're in a situation where you're caring and you're having to give a lot of sort of care and nurture and support to others, and maybe that's kind of just wearing a little bit thin with you now. So maybe, and again with the Wounded Healer card, with the Florence Nightingale card, maybe that's kind of taking its toll on you, and you want something that's a bit more exciting, a bit more fun, and that's going to, you know, mean that you're you know, you're more of a kind of leader. So maybe you're in a position where you are you know, you are in a kind of team situation possibly, and where you're kind of giving a lot of support on the kind of grassroots, you know, level, and you want something, or you're asking about whether you can move up, where you can move up and you can be more of a planner, more of a strategist, more of an influencer in some way. And there's also something about this card about looking at things in a nostalgic way, a past. It's a card of the past. So maybe at the moment it's something, your career question is something about looking into going back into doing something that you did in the past, or what you did before. Yeah, so there's something around that going on as well for you. But this card can talk about looking back on the past nostalgically sometimes. That might be something that you just want to be able to have a little bit of an awareness of. But yeah, anyway, that's the position of where you are at the moment. Now, the two cards that we've got, which are the cards that sort of like are the sort of negatives of whatever it is you're asking, are both sort of sevens. So it's both the Seven of Pentacles is well, it's about feeling challenged, but it's also about kind of a little bit of procrastination as well. So maybe something in this situation is causing you to procrastinate a bit too long, and to also, you know, think that there are challenges to it. So whatever it is you're asking about, just say, for example, you were asking, you know, should I start up my own business, or should I be my own boss, which would kind of go with the Emperor card. You know, should I be my own boss, because it might lead to me not having to do everything and do all the donkey work. It might lead to me being the one that's in charge, and it might lead to me to having better finances. So at the moment, the negatives are that you need to take action, because that's why you've got the Knight of Wands, because in the negative position you've got the Seven of Pentacles, which is too much, you know, taking a step back and just assessing. There's too much weighing up, really. There's too much procrastination. But you also have the Seven of Wands, which talks about challenges, but the challenges are in the negative position, really. And so I'm thinking there is that, you know, those challenges you know, are not really there. You can overcome them, yeah, because the Seven of Wands is about overcoming, feeling like you're challenged, but being able to overcome them. So my feeling is that for you, the negatives of the situation are procrastination and believing that there are challenges to whatever the situation is you're asking about, when in actual fact, you know, you can overcome those challenges. So that's what I would say about those. Now the outcome is a yes. I would say it's definitely a yes, because you've got the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles again talks about stability, it talks about financial success. She's financially successful, she's made it, she's comfortable. We've got the rabbits here, you know, again talking about prosperity, abundance. She is completely comfortable in her own skin. She is really, you know, she's very comfortable because she, you know, she's sitting here, she's nicely dressed, she's on this beautiful throne, she's surrounded by nature. So I would say that this is a very definite yes to whatever it is you are asking about. That is the outcome. And it will lead to, you know, it will definitely lead to financial abundance and success for you. So whatever it is you're asking about, it's definitely a yes. And again, the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who's very business savvy. She's very business savvy. She's both also family orientated. So she's a nice mixture of both this kind of Emperor energy and this Six of Cups energy, where we've got the nurturing and the caring, but also the business savvy, the strategizing, the planning. So I think in whatever it is you're asking about, if there are any doubts, worries, you're just kind of wondering about whether you can, you know, change up the routine or change up the situation. Is it going to be too challenging for me? Is it going to be too difficult? I think the answer is no, it's not. You know, you can do it. It might feel like it would be a bit of a juggle for you or a bit tricky for you. Perhaps that's what you're asking. Perhaps it's like, oh, you know, will I be able to manage financially? Maybe that's what the question is. You know, if I make this move, for example, into this job or into this working for myself, or whatever the question is, will it financially pay off for me? Then I think the answer is yes, it definitely will, because you've got the Queen of Pentacles, which is, you know, the Queen of the Pentacles, which is all about stability, growth and financial success. So I would say definitely, and yet you're being urged to take action with the Knight of Wands, to, you know, to shake it up a bit, get out of the humdrum, get out of the routine. And that somehow that's linked to either shedding responsibility or maybe taking on more responsibility. But anyway, part number 3, that has been your reading. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That would really help me out and the channel, so I can do more readings. But other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now.